Okay, hi AMC. This is Jenny, and I'm super excited to introduce you guys to Sarah Murr. I'm sure some of you already know her here in the club, but she has very graciously agreed to be our interview this month, right in the middle of end of school and graduation week and all kinds of cool stuff. So, hi Sarah, thanks for being on our little member interview video.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, totally. So we just met not very long ago at the duathlon, having a hamburger after the ride and the run. I didn't run very much, but I've been thinking I wanted to interview someone who is a little newer to triathlon and newer to the club. And I enjoyed chatting with you. And so you came to mind, and here we are. So would you mind sharing with the club just a little bit about yourself and how you got connected with AMC?
Of course. So speaking of the graduation and the school year wrap up, I'm a mom. I have two daughters who are 17 and 14. And two dogs. There's three dogs at my house. Two of them are mine.
Yeah.
Dog mom, kid mom. And for work, I am a business analyst and project manager. I work for the Secretary of State's office in the elections division. So I help get programs going for our voters. So everybody has fair access to elections.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. How did you get connected with AMC?
So my former triathlon club, I left them last year, but while I was there, Coach Mary was a coach there, and she had talked about AMC a bit, so I decided to give AMC a try.
Cool. What was your other club that you were part of?
Colorado Wild Women.
Okay, I think I've met a few other people recently that were part of that club and came over our way.
There are a few of us.
Yeah, cool. So tell us about just your journey getting started with triathlon. What got you? I remember a little bit from our conversation, but share with the club. How did you get into this? What has that journey been like for you?
So I got into triathlon because my friend Holly has been a triathlete for a while. And our time together, we met at the elementary school that our kids went to together. And we did a lot of PTCO stuff. And once our kids were leaving the school, we wanted to be able to keep in touch. So she talked me into this crazy thing called triathlon.
Nice.
So
if your girls are 14 and 17, you guys have been friends for a long time.
Yeah, we've been friends. Her oldest daughter is the same age as my youngest.
Okay. So. Okay. Awesome. So how did it start out for you? Did you start with sprint, or did you just pick one of the disciplines? Do you have background in any three things?
I don't have background in any of it.
Yeah.
In fact, I started, so I started in January 2020.
Okay. Oh, wow.
The club and the CWW team, and little did we know that was going to be a pandemic year. Yeah. But when I stepped into the pool for the first time, I didn't know how to put my head under the water without holding my nose with my hand. Wow. So it's been quite a journey.
Wow.
Some of it's been pretty scary, not really a background with running or cycling or anything. So
yeah.
It was all brand new. So my first triathlon was one that CWW hosted in 2020. Cool. They decided, since everything was closed, they wanted to do their own triathlon.
Yeah.
And it was a super sprint.
Okay.
In August at Chatfield.
Yeah.
And we swam in the reservoir.
Yeah.
For this. And the day we went out to do the super sprint happened to be pretty crazy weather. And I have been terrified of the water, especially open water.
Yeah.
And the waves were like white caps.
Yeah.
And I kind of cried my eyes out going up to the water, not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And I think cried my eyes out all the way around. And I think it probably took me around 8 minutes. And most people were out of there in like 3 minutes, but I was just like bobbing my way around.
Yeah.
And somehow managed to get to my bike and finish the rest of it being terrified.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I respect that a ton. I will tell people I learned to swim as an adult, but it's a little different because I grew up in California and lots of people had swimming pools. We played at the beach, we would water ski. So I was very comfortable in the water. I
Yeah.
just never learned to swim for fitness. When I tried to put it all together and do a freestyle stroke, I thought I couldn't breathe. I couldn't coordinate my limbs,
Yeah.
So you were even a little more than that. Tell us about that journey of learning to swim. I think that's so challenging as an adult.
It was really challenging. So one of my teammates, her name's Michelle, kind of saw me break down the first time I stepped into the pool
Yeah.
and was like, how can I help you?
Mm.
And we went and there's a walking lane at the pool that our team met at. And we just went in the walking lane and she kind of walked me through
Mhm.
easy steps, just like practice, like
Yeah.
blow bubbles,
Yeah.
and I slowly got better. I learned, not everybody's staring at you because they're focusing on their own workout.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
can do this in,
Yeah.
125-meter at a time.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then we moved out to the open water.
Oh man.
And when you first drive by Gravel Pond, you think, well, that's tiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you get down there, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
get out there to that first buoy,
Mhm.
it's a little terrifying. But it was in 2020, a lot of me going to the first buoy with a teammate or a
Yeah.
coach and
Yeah.
then back and just swimming along the shore.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to do it, to build confidence and just little by little get used
Yeah.
to it. What?
Um,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and then in 2021, I was still terrified.
Yeah.
Um, but I was signed up for my first like event triathlon in Steamboat at I'm drawing a blank on the name of the lake that it's at, but
Is it Catamount?
Catamount, yeah.
Yeah, I've done that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was signed up to do stand-up paddleboard instead of swim.
Okay.
And I'm a bigger gal. I register as an Athena.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know that, that's a plus size
Yeah.
athletes. And they sent out the list of athletes for Steamboat.
Mhm.
And there were only 2 other women in my category.
Okay.
And I said, if I go,
Yeah.
I can top 3 right
Yeah.
there.
The medal.
And so I talked myself out of doing paddleboard and doing my first swim.
Wow.
And turns out I was the only one who showed up. So I got first place because I was the only one in the category.
I love it. Good for you. Was that
So,
a sprint or an Olympic?
it was a sprint.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like for you swimming in a pack, in a group? How did you do with that?
It was a little scary. Well, it was a lot. Leading up to it, I wasn't nervous, but I was planning out my day. I was there extra early. I walked down and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is not set up how the map says it's set up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I found somebody with a vest right away and asked them how we were supposed to swim.
Yeah.
And then I was able to I was just kept going back to the water edge just to look and try and calm myself. And I ended up answering a lot of people because a lot of people had that same thought as me. This isn't how the map said it's supposed to be.
Right.
So I was able to answer a lot of people's questions and help them know how they were supposed to swim. And so I think that helped me calm down so much, just because I was able to just be helpful.
Yeah.
And so when I got in the water, I was like, you told everybody which way they're supposed to swim. You know where you're going.
I love it. That's so cool how that worked out.
Yeah.
What made you stay with it? I was more comfortable with water, but I had a lot of fear on my bike when I was first starting. I would say I have this love-fear relationship with my bike.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, having to work through so much to learn it, what made you stay with it?
I think that like leading up to starting triathlon, I was really taking a big look at my health
Mhm.
um, and how I was feeling, how my body was feeling, and the kind of role model I was being for my kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like getting into it, like obviously helps you with your fitness. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to keep doing that. But a big part of why I continued to stay is because I met so many friends
Yes.
who do this. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's how I stay connected to some of them. And just, you know, I will say I hate swimming every single day, but when I get out there, I actually really love it when I'm not scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I do love my bike. Every time I get on my bike, I think, why don't I do this more often?
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and running, I think, you know, I'm a very slow runner
Mhm.
and everything hurts.
Yes.
But
I relate to that.
I'm like, the only way to get better is to keep going and doing it. And you know you want to get better, so just keep going and doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing. Tell us, you kind of did already. I had a question. Tell us about your first race, but you kind of did that. How did the rest of the race go for you? The bike, it sounded like it would have been windy. If there were white caps, how'd you
Oh,
feel on the
yes,
bike
it
and the
was
run that?
really windy on that one. And um, I have been, our team had ridden, like cycled out at Chatfield a ton, so I knew the route, so I was pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
But I felt like my entire bike ride, I was still catching my breath from the swim,
Yeah. Yeah.
and being so anxious.
Yeah.
But I felt good, like one of my goals that I always have in mind when I go race or do something is just don't be last. Just as
Mhm.
long as you're not last.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even if you're last, that's
Yeah.
fine. At least you finished
Still
it. But
showed
that's
up.
like
Yeah.
always a goal for me. Don't be last.
Yeah. I love
So I was not last. So I was happy to like, I was able to like pass a couple people on the bike. And then I was able to um kind of stay in that position when we ran,
awesome.
which thankfully wasn't very far with
Mhm.
it being a super sprint because I was wiped out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Um, what is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself since starting this in early 2020?
yeah, I think the biggest thing is that um, stop telling yourself you can't. Like
Yeah.
you can do it.
Yes.
Like, and especially with joining CWW, there were women of all ages
Hmm.
out there. And like, if this 80-year-old can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like you don't have to be first, you don't have to be fast.
Hmm.
Um, you just have to try.
Yeah. I love that. That was something that struck me when I did my first sprint triathlon. And I had no athletic background at all. And so it was all really new to me. I can kind of relate to that part of your story. But I remember I did the Outdoor Divas. So it was an all women race. And I remember being struck by all ages, all shapes and sizes, all ability levels. And
Yeah.
I just felt like, oh, it's a setting that I might have thought I don't belong here. I
Yeah.
showed up and went, oh, I totally could belong here. And that I even see that at Ironman events that we go to. I love the ages and the shapes and the sizes of people, and so much of it is about your spirit and what you want to accomplish for yourself. And I
Yeah.
just find it so inspiring. So I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Um, do you have any advice for somebody else who's new to triathlon, who's just getting into it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Everybody can share something, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I would say is don't compare yourself to other people.
Good.
Everyone has their own unique history and that brought them to triathlon and, you know, different health abilities, you know, different just overall physical abilities. So just don't compare yourself to even, which sometimes you still do. Sometimes it's like really hard to not do it. And sometimes when you're in a race, one of my last, I did a 4-mile trail run,
Yeah.
and there was a guy who was probably like 70.
Wow.
And we kept like, he would pass me and I would pass him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't let this old man beat me. But like everybody, he's probably been running a lot more than I have, so don't compare yourself to everybody. Just try and go at your own pace.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you don't have to have expensive gear to succeed at triathlon.
That's true. I like
You
it.
can have a bike you got for free on Craigslist and a pair of shorts and a tank top, like
Yes. I
you don't
love
have to
it.
break the bank.
That same Outdoor Divas, my first triathlon, I showed up with a mountain bike. Because that was the only bike I had, it had been given to me. I didn't even know there were different kinds of bikes.
Yeah.
And Jeff and I were dating at the time, so this is how long ago it was, and he was with me, and I'm getting out of the car, I'm unloading my bike, and I'm looking around, and I'll never forget it. He's like, Jenny, don't look at all those people, like, don't look at their fancy bikes, don't look at their fancy kits, like, you've worked really hard for this, like, just go out and have fun. And I did on my little, like, too small for me blue mountain bike, and I had a great day, and you work your way through stuff. But I think that's great advice, Sarah. I'm really glad you said that. Like, just start where you are with what you have and get out there. That's good. I like it. Can I throw a question at you I didn't prepare you for, but I didn't think of it ahead of time, but I'm interested. So sorry. Tell me about triathlon while being a parent. I think the people in our club that have young kids at home that are doing all this, like, that's I think a really unique challenge compared to someone, I've got 2 stepkids, but they're in their 20s and they're out of the house and we can kind of do what we want to do. What's that then like? How do you carve that time?
Fortunately for me, I started when my kids are older. Like, I don't need to have babysitters when I leave the house. It's just about balance. Like, plan your exercise around things that are scheduled with the kids, and pivot when you need to. My kids are definitely not kids who want to be involved in any kind of sports with me. But like, if I'm going out to swim at Chatfield, ask one of the kids, hey, do you want to come and hang out while I swim, and then we can paddleboard? Just try and like combine your time. And one cool thing that saved me money, or saved me time rather, not money, saved me time, is learning that I could do grocery pickup at Target.
Yes.
Like, if I don't have to go in the store for an hour and a half, just get things I want and go pick it up.
Totally.
Total time saver, and I can get other things done while I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome. Okay. What are you training for in 2022? Do you have any races or goals, things you're working on?
I have signed up for so many sprints. I think like 4 or 5 of them.
Nice.
I am working through some health issues, so I don't know. My first one's supposed to be June 4th, which I don't know what I was thinking, because who's been in open water?
Yeah, I haven't yet.
Just the crazy people who are okay with the cold. So yeah, hopefully I can, but I'm not feeling very strong right now because of the health stuff that I have going on. But hopefully June 4th might be one that I switch to volunteer and then get out there for the next one.
Yeah. What would be the next one after that?
I think the next one after that is actually one that I'm doing a relay on.
Oh, fun.
Which is Loveland Lake to Lake.
Oh yeah, I love
and
that one.
I last year did that with a couple of my friends, and I did the run portion. And the run is real fun through the little sculpture garden. But this year, believe it or not, you would really not believe this based on what I told you earlier. I am doing the swim.
Are you swimming? Yay, Sarah. Good for you.
So
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. I have
So,
done Lake to Lake, and I might have told you this at the duathlon. What the thing that stands out to me is it is a really long little jog from the swim exit to the transition,
yes.
unless they've changed it in the last
Yeah.
3 or 4 years. I remember getting out of the water
It's
going,
so
this should
long.
count toward my run. This
Yeah.
feels like a mile, but it's probably not quite that far.
Yeah.
It's a long
I
way.
know. It's pretty far.
Yeah,
Could
yeah,
be half a mile.
yeah. Make sure you
Um,
count it towards your run total.
my friend who was doing the swim actually hurt her knee, which is why she was gonna do the bike.
Okay.
And so those two ladies switched at the last minute since she hurt her knee. And then she's like, oh, sorry guys, I'm gonna be real slow from the water to the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because yeah, it's a long one. They nicely put down some nice carpet for you though most of
Yeah.
the way.
Well, we got a good little crew from the club, I think, out doing Lake to Lake this year.
I think
So
so. I thought I
maybe
saw that. Yeah,
you guys can connect for some lunch
yeah,
afterward or something like that.
that'll be great.
Cool. Well, last question. I'd love for you to share with the club about your Tuesday, Thursday night run and yoga that you're doing. Jeff was so excited when you wanted to volunteer to do that. So share what you're doing and where you're meeting at and that kind of stuff.
So I want to preface this by saying I am not a coach.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a yoga instructor.
Yeah.
I'm just someone who needs other people to meet up for exercises, helps me be accountable, helps me enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And I just I picked Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's I'm flexible if somebody no, only one person has come so far. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to throw out day and time suggestions that would work better.
Yeah.
But you know, just kind of Goodson's my favorite place to run. It's mostly shaded
Yeah, that's a great
and
area.
yeah, and the path is wide. So even when bikes zoom past you, they're usually not too close.
Yeah.
So it just, you know, plan to run out for 30 minutes and run back in. Another reason Goodson is one of my favorites, because depending on which way you go from there, if I do a 5K loop, I know I can loop in 2 bathrooms.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yes. So, which is always nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Very important.
Yeah, and you know, just stretching, because stretching is important, helps
Mhm.
prevent injuries and all that. So kind of do some warm-up stretches before we run, and then when we come back, I like to keep my yoga mat in my car.
Yeah.
And I usually, I mean, most of the time I'm by myself, so I just put my earbuds in and watch a yoga video.
Yeah.
My favorite is I have this app called Fit On,
Hmm.
and there's an instructor on there. His name is Vitas,
Mhm.
and his voice is like water. It's just
Yeah.
calm.
Oh, nice.
And
Nice.
so he leads you through some stretches. That's usually what I do if anybody, you know, wants to join me in that. They can watch the same video. We can work out how to bring like a speaker and a bigger screen, like an iPad or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. So Tuesday and Thursday evenings at the Goodson Rec Center
yeah,
is where you're meeting up at 6:30. Is that right?
it's 30. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And that's right off of, if you don't know where it's at, I know a lot of people are in the Highlands Ranch area, but Goodson is off of Arapahoe and University.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. It's been so nice to chat with you, and I hope that I'll see you again soon at another club
Yeah.
event, and good luck with your races this month. I know Jeff and I won't make it out to Loveland. I think it's the same weekend that he's doing a half Ironman down in Texas, but we'll be cheering for you guys, and just so nice to chat tonight.
Great. Well,
Cool.
thanks for having me again.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay.